Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is the Shoot to Grill podcast. I'm your host, Jason Bailey, and this is where grilling meets, M-E-A-T-S, it's clever, I know, entertainment. So we grill on every podcast. We have our chef, Jimmy Bones, once again will be joining us from Miami. Jimmy Bones, Officer Jimmy Bones. What are you, a sergeant? What are you?
Sergeant.
Oh, okay, Sergeant Jimmy Bones. And to offset our sergeantry, we have a king. Because
my crown's over there.
What's that?
My crown's over there. It's sitting on the shelf right now.
You should wear that everywhere you go. WWE Superstar King Corbin. So yeah, I mean, like if I had the crown, I think I would not go anywhere without it. Like,
you get some pretty funny looks when you do have it on out of context. I wore it to like a Super Bowl media event. Yeah. And at first I was like, I'm not wearing it because I'm going to be the only idiot in there wearing a crown on my head right now, like out of context. So people are going to be like, who's this guy? I don't want to talk to him. Because I was doing the interviews with the Chiefs. And after like 30 seconds, I was like, go get the crown.
I saw that.
I wore it the whole time. I
saw that video of you walking around. You were, as ridiculous. I like to call it, LTG in the situation. You were living the gimmick. And who was it Roman that was doing the other?
Yeah, because he's a fan of the 49ers, so
right,
good.
Yeah. He's a Georgia Tech boy too.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, and our producer, Mr. Porn Stash himself, always looks high, and sometimes is, but not always. That would be Diggy Duke Nate. So before we get to Jimmy Bones and what he's cooking, Baron, you're in Tampa, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So you moved down there and I guess just set up shop when you started NXT, right?
So, yeah, I'm originally from Kansas City, land of the barbecue right there. But, I moved out to Tampa for NXT and went through the developmental system. And then I met my wife and she convinced me to stay here in Tampa.
Was your wife a wrestling fan?
No, not at all. She thought I was like a high school wrestling coach when I was trying to explain to her. Because first when I met her too, I lied to her about what I did. She's like, what do you do? I was like, I'm in marketing. And she's like, what kind of marketing? I was like, general marketing? Like, I have no idea. And her friend's like, I'm in marketing and that's not a division of marketing. I was like, okay. So then I was like, I'm actually a wrestler. And she's like you coach kids in high school? And I was like, sure, let's go with that.
You're like the largest marketing director ever.
Yeah. I mean, I could force people to buy stuff. That's marketing in a way, right?
And I'm assuming
buy this or get beat up.
And I'm assuming at that time you had the long hair, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. She's like,
she actually picked me up at the bar because she said I looked like I belonged on Sons of Anarchy.
You did your original gimmick. Yeah, you did. You look like that biker guy. That was cool. All right, so we'll talk with Baron, of course, about wrestling because I'm such a wrestling fan and just life in general. He's such a cool dude. But Baron, like the rest of us that are watching Shoot to Grill, are big grill guys and girls. Yeah, Baron especially, social media, does some really amazing stuff. In this episode, Jimmy Bones, my friend down in Miami, still on. You're not lockdown's not the word. It's you're on call, right? You're on call.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of, I guess, restriction.
Yeah, restriction. And it's still the virus. It has nothing to do with the protest. We're still focusing on the virus of the military, right? Gotcha.
Yep,
right.
still the virus.
So just to explain to you, to Baron, he's in his parking lot of his apartment complex.
I dig it.
Originally, I thought he was at a assisted living facility, but it's actually his apartment complex. He always has to show his Camaro. That's his love of his life. And he's got his grill back there, and he cooks some amazing food every time we have him on. So this week, Jimmy Bones, what are you doing?
So we're going to do wings 2 ways. We're going to make a whole wing, and I'll fabricate that down to wingettes. I will toss that with some buffalo sauce and some lemon pepper, and then grill that over medium heat, pull them off, and then toss them again in the sauce. And then we're also going to do a salami asparagus roll up. So that's a piece of salami. You smear some cream cheese on that, roll the asparagus up in that, and then also grill that on medium heat. And it's absolutely amazing. Anytime I cook this at a cookout, the roll ups, people take them out of the pan as I pull them off the grill. I usually don't even get to eat them because people love them that much. that there's like they're gathered around me at the grill and they're eating them as they come off.
See,
So
that's what I struggle with. Like, you know, the grill that, like, I cook on a Kamado Joe. I think, Baron, you've got a green egg, if memory serves. Yeah.
No, I just I'm making a switch. I just had a offset built in.
Oh, okay. So you got the kitchen.
Switching over to a pits and spits offset.
And then Jimmy Bones is got, I think, your Walmart special back there, and that's not a shot. It's just what it is. But like, I got to look at the number. You know, so when you say medium heat, I have to see, like, I have to Google, you know, like 185 degrees, 500 degrees. I have to know the number. So when you say medium heat, like, give me a number.
Probably like 350, maybe 400.
Okay, that works.
Yeah.
And for how long until done?
About 20 minutes, maybe 20, 30 minutes. But yeah, usually until done. I'll stick the thermometer in there and I just cook it until it's done, you know, till it reaches temp. So we'll do up to 165 on the wings, obviously. And then pull them, like I said, toss them in the sauce again. And I think that's what people enjoy about them is you sauce them, grill them, sauce them, and then serve them.
Yeah, I agree. How do you do wings, Baron?
I'm a no sauce guy, so it's just for me it's different rubs, different seasonings. I like them hot, so I'll use cayenne, I'll use some hot pepper rubs, chili powder, red pepper, that kind of stuff. And then I smoke them same way, take them at 165. I might even take them to about 155, 160, and then just crank the fire up and let that fire crisp that skin for me, because I'm just not a big sauce guy. And then we usually sauce after for the people who do like teriyaki or something like that. But I don't know. I got into that Memphis dry rub life probably 6-7 years ago, and everything for me is dry rub right now.
Same with the ribs for me. Like, I'm doing 6 racks tomorrow night for some people, and I used to be a big sauce guy, and then the rubs, because you can put the salt, you can over sauce while you cook. So like I rather rub than afterwards sauce it, and everybody can pick their own sauce. Have you ever seen or used the as a Kamado Joe user, they have the Joe Tisserie? I think they have something very similar for the green egg with the basket.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
You ever use that?
I haven't. I just do them right on top with the heat shield on and just go right to it. There's so many accessories for both those grills. It's crazy. And my wife yells at me because I always take them, like when I always do things, you know, if I got the heat shield in, then I got to pull it and set it on something and let it cool down, and I leave it out all night, and then I get yelled at in the morning. So the less accessories I use, the less I get yelled at, really.
I was cooking wings. This was a while back, and I was doing it in the Joe Tisserie. And for anybody that's got a KJ, I highly recommend the Joe Tisserie. It's really cool. And you know, I think I was doing it right before football on a Sunday, and I fell asleep, man. I fell asleep. and so I wake up and I go to the KJ, and not only did everything in the basket burn, like there was nothing left, everything burned. It was so hot, and I had left it for so long, the handle had melted on the outside because it was burped. And I'm like, damn. My wife comes out and she goes, well, nice job screwing up the wings. And she goes, but you gave me an idea. If I ever wanted to kill you, I'm going to put you in this damn thing because nobody's going to find your body.
Yeah. I've had to stand the handle on my egg 3 times because I've burnt the handle off almost.
It happens, especially when you have it burp just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not paying attention. It'll get you. All right. So Jimmy Bones, I don't know where he went. I guess to get the stuff. He can go ahead and start. And remember, for those listening and watching, all the recipes, like the breakdown of the recipes, will be on shoottogrillpodcast.com. So you can see that. Now, if you follow Baron on social media, obviously all the wrestling stuff is up there, of course. But one thing that out of like all the celebrity guests that we've had that dig grilling and whatnot, you stand out because you're a big prep guy. Like you put a lot of effort into the before of getting it on the grill, which is really impressive.
Yeah, I enjoy it, man. You know, when you're on the road with wrestling and traveling the world, you come home and you just kind of want to relax, and you know, you can sit on the couch and watch TV for me, and just is not as much fun as putting meal together. And it's been a fun process learning different things to prep, different to cook. I follow a couple people on social media and on YouTube, learning recipes, and I toy with them myself. But yeah, for me, it's the process of putting it together is a lot of fun.
It's therapeutic, right?
Yeah, most definitely. It's like, it is. Sometimes it's stressful when you can't get it right, but for the most part, yeah, it's fun. And I don't know if anybody else is like me, but I always like munch while I'm prepping. And then by the time the food's ready, sometimes I'm like, well, I'm not hungry. I'm going to have to wait a little bit. Cause I do like a brie wrapped prosciutto on the green egg, which is incredible. So you put all the prosciutto down and then you put a thing of brie in the middle, put some jam on it. And then, I usually eat 2 packs of the prosciutto before I even get it on the grill. So
does your wife, is she a big cooker or griller at all?
yeah, she's not into the grilling. She was funny. She's like, you got to teach me how to do it. And I was like, no chance. You're not touching my grills. But she does all the sides, man. Like he was talking about his asparagus, and like she does incredible vegetables. And then like I said, she's Spanish, so she makes some crazy good different rices and paellas and tostones. Like we get some of that good ethnic food in there too.
Do any of your fellow wrestlers in the WWE or even outside the WWE? Because I know a lot of the guys live in Tampa. I spent most of my life in Orlando, and I go back with the WWE. Like, they used to let me do stuff for the house shows and hosted Carlita's Cabana one night with Christmas flight. Yeah, so I go way back to when it was a little bit of a different era, when it was a little bit looser backstage, where I could walk around the beer and it was cool. Through the radio business, not obviously as a wrestler, but
I'm with it.
The guys, a lot of them in Tampa, Orlando area. Do they hit you up for food? Say, I got to come over, Baron, you're cooking for us all tonight?
You know what? I get hit more because I think I've been putting it on Instagram. I've been cooking for, I don't know, a long time on the grill. Like I said, I grew up in Kansas City. My dad was a huge grill guy. I mean, he's got like a old offset that's under my mom's patio that's probably 25 years old, hasn't been touched in 15 years. But I've started putting it on social media through all this. And now I have a lot of the guys, they're all buying grills. They're buying Traegers. And so I get hit more for how do I do this? What temperature do I take this to? What's a recipe? What should I do next? What kind of meat should I get? How do I cut it? So it's funny because I end up answering like 20 questions at night from different people, from Braun to Otis. They're all, doing these things. Then backstage guys like Greg, one of our announcers, he's like, how do I cook this tomahawk? And I'm like, all right, well, what do you got? Do you got a grill? You got a sous vide? What do you want to do? How do you want to take this road? How do you eat it? And so I've become like, I don't know, the go-to guy, I guess, for questions.
You're the WWE go-to grill guy. That's
yeah.
You're king. That'll be the transition from King Corbin to King Griller. So
right.
you'll come in and hit the guy over there with a spatula or a big.
I'll hit a big tomahawk steak. Be swinging for the fences.
That's funny. Like different guests, especially guys in the music business. I know for those of you that have listened to like all the podcasts and the running theme, I'll say things over and over again, but I always like to bring up Vinnie Paul, rest his soul. Is like Vinnie was such a huge grill guy, and you listen to the dudes that were around him on the road, especially Kyle from Hell Yeah, or even Snake from Skid Row, who you probably are friends with. But, so like they talk about, the backstage element.
Yeah.
There's catering everywhere. There's catering with the WWE. But every once in a while, especially if you've got a show in your hometown, it's nice to go over to one of the boys' house and get some food, right? I'm guessing you probably are the go-to guy. You the go-to guy?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I get hit up for food all the time with that. But you're talking about the music world, like they bring those grills on their tour bus. I know, like my buddy Zach from Shinedown, they're big grill guys. I remember the first time I had a buffalo steak. Is it Aaron from Stain, lead singer? He was cooking up buffalo steaks and giving them out to us. So it was crazy. There's a lot of dudes in that world that know how to get down with some food. You get tired of eating catering. Yeah. Like everybody does. So
is that chicken? It gets a little cardboard.
Yeah. It's got no flavor. It's boiled.
Yeah, it's a little cardboardish and weird.
Yeah.
So I think ever since you in the WWE did the manager, the GM gimmick, right? And
Yeah.
and you came out and you got street clothes on, and I'm watching every Monday night, and we didn't know each other, and I'm sitting there, and I've got one question in my head, and now I get to ask you, how sick of it did you get to wrestle in a shirt like that? To be uncomfortable.
Dude,
like
you have no idea.
Who was paying for those shirts?
I was.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because it was like we went to that look with the vest and the dress shirt and the pants, completely unaware. Do I still wear it in the ring? Do I it was kind of a feel out process. So it was also a feel out process of finding the right jeans. I went through probably like 10 pairs of jeans trying to find a pair that didn't make me want to die. The dress shirts. Like the first one I got was like a $90 dress shirt. I go out there and I went to punch somebody and tore the whole back open. And I was like, well, that one's not going to work. So it was like I was having to trial and error with all these different dress shirts and clothes and companies. But then, dude, we did a show in Saudi Arabia, and it was 100. I want to say it was like 118 when I wrestled Seth in a dress shirt and jeans. I've never thought I was going to die before that moment.
Oh, we lost your audio. No. We lost your audio. What's happening? How did we lose his audio? I want to hear the rest of the story. Oh, no. Nate, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're back. Oh, my God. You got to finish the story. You're in the ring, 118 degrees with Seth, and you're about to die in Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
You're back. I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you guys hear me? Nate?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Baron, can you hear me? Baron.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
No, okay.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I got to hear.
That was a great story, too.
There we go.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yes, I don't know why for some reason my Discord came on.
You cut out again. It's that Tampa Wi-Fi. I'm telling you. Dirty Tampa Wi-Fi. It'll get you every time. There you are. You're back.
Discord is screwing me up.
You're back. I got you. You gotta finish that story though. I gotta hear it with Seth in the ring, in the shirt, in 118 degrees. You there?
I don't think we have his audio.
We don't have his audio? I think he can hear us.
There we go.
Yeah, there you go. We're back.
Because now I cannot. I disconnected it.
You got to finish that story because
video game things.
You're in the ring with Seth, 118 degrees. Wearing the dress shirt, please.
Yeah, and the dress shirt. Every time I moved, it was like hot air went from my ankles up and out my shirt and like hit me in the face. The shirt was so sweaty and gross. It had like just tightened. I had to have help getting it off, and then all that clothes just went in the trash because they were done. They were 80 pounds afterwards in sweat.
Did you not go to them and say, "Hey, can you guys pay for this?"
No, because we do our own kind of stuff with that, so that's just on us. It is what it is. But I mean, they help you out. Like when we moved into the world of the king, they had my crown done and that epic robe thing that was awesome in the winter. Now it's getting a little hot, but
because the gimmick that you started with, those clothes, the same with I think Bray's, right? The company. Are they out of Pittsburgh? Or who's the guys that were giving you?
Oh yeah, he's doing the Tom Savini stuff. Yeah.
They're
making his gear. It's crazy good.
So that's always cool when you get the free gear.
Heck yeah.
I would
less money you spend, the more you save.
Right.
More I can spend on dry aged meat.
I was watching that and I'm going, man, that dude has got to be miserable. It looks like he's wearing like a shirt from Express and then
that's where it was from. That's exactly where it was from.
I got that shirt
because it's stretchy.
Yes.
It was the only one that wouldn't tear.
I knew it. And then,
but after you washed it like 4 times, it was up to my belly button.
And then the thing that sucks is that you normally would wear maybe that outfit out, like take your wife out to dinner, but now you can't because it's
I'm in character.
It's work clothes. You're in character.
Yeah. Yeah, man. There were some brutal days in that outfit.
That's funny.
And some expensive ones going through them shirts.
So you played ball before you got to WWE. It's funny because you played at Northwest Missouri State University. I got recruited by Southeast Missouri State University,
SMS.
which was, I think, an NAIA 2 school. And actually I used that as an excuse to get out of being arrested one time for stealing a do-rag from a Kmart in Sarasota, and they bought it. But it was true. I was, but anyway, so I played D2 ball, small ball. It's fun.
Yep.
But you obviously did something with your life. I didn't, and you took it to the NFL. That's a huge achievement to be a D2 guy and go to the NFL.
Yeah, it is. And people don't understand that. I sat through so many conversations with pro scouts, and it was one of the most tiresome things ever to hear and most frustrating things where they'd go, man, if only you were at a D1 school, you'd be like a second, third round draft pick. And I'm going, what's it matter? I still have the same ability to play. And they're going, well, the competition level. And I'm like, dude, you look at Division I and premier Division II school teams, I don't think the competition is all that different. It's just they've got 11 guys that are studs on a team. Maybe, I'm talking on each side of the ball, plus backups that are studs, where Division II, you got 4 or 5 guys on each side of the ball that are just studs. The rest of the guys are kind of average. But you still got some players, and I still played in a Division I All-Star game, and it was just so frustrating to deal with that conversation of, well, only if you were a D1 guy. And I'm going, dude, I can play with your boys. But it's looked at through your whole career. And the NFL is a little bit of a paper business. And it doesn't always matter what the player's abilities are, because if you take somebody and you say, okay, this kid is 6'6", and when I was playing ball, I was 325, and you put my bench press or my, on-field measurements on paper, and then you put my school and you put the same exact thing on another guy, but the school says USC or Arkansas, they're taking that guy all day.
Right.
It's one of those things. And
it's kind of like market size in our business,
Yeah, exactly.
Whether it's radio or television, I'm more of a fan of your school of thought. It's like you sit back and people are people, and you get along with people. It's good. When anybody makes the argument about small school versus big school, I mean, I get the argument, but I just say Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice went to a small school and just happened to be, one of the best, arguably the best wide receivers the NFL had ever seen. Did you like the time you spent in the NFL?
And it's a weird place, because unless you're a top tier guy that's going to be there a long time, you don't really make friends, because it's a revolving door, man. Especially when you're a backup like I was, or on practice squad when I was on practice squad. Like, you got to make it to 3:00 on Tuesday. If you make it to 3:00 on Tuesday, you're still on the team for another week. So it's a business, man, all the way through. It's not just a family of dudes playing football and having fun on Saturdays like college. It's my job's on the line, and I got to put food on the table. So we're out here to play, and dudes are from all over the country or the world, and they got families. It's not an atmosphere that is like, hey, man, you guys want to go hang out? You want to go to the bar? You want to go get drinks? And they're like, well, I got 2 kids, man, or my wife's mad. I haven't been home all day. And it's one of those things. Because, when I was playing football, man, I was 22, 23, 24. I was ready to party.
Right.
That's not that world.
So how did you get from there to the WWE? Did they recruit you?
No, I was on a rock and roll cruise, Shiprocked. And I was talking to a guy who was a manager for a bunch of bands that were on tour, and he was trying to recruit somebody that I was there with. And he was asking me if what I wanted to do if football didn't work out. And I said, well, I either want to go to WWE or I want to fight in the UFC. And so then we kind of were discussing, the difference. And there's just no money in the UFC it's a long road to make real money. And he's like, well, I know somebody that runs the music for WWE. Let me put a call in. and then he put a call into the guy. They called me the next day and flew me out the next week for a tryout.
Wow.
And so I got lucky, man. It was, you know, a little bit of luck and timing. And I flew out to Tampa, did the tryout, and they said, "Hey, do you want to be here?" And I was like, "Yeah, hell yeah, this is a blast." And I signed a contract like 3 weeks later.
And the coaches at the time were Dusty.
Yep, Dusty was there. Bill DeMont was there. Billy Gunn, Norman Smiley, Steve Kern, Terry Taylor, Steamboat was there at the time. Joey Mercury. So it was stacked.
Yeah. Who out of all those had the most influence on you and your character?
You know, I clicked with Billy Gunn really well. From the moment I walked in the door. When I found out I was getting the tryout, I met him at a show in Arizona.
Did you click with him because Paula made you click with him? Or?
Yeah. I didn't get to meet Paula for a little bit. It took a little bit, but then
the first I've known Billy since 90 something or another, and I've known Paula for just as long, and so you know, I mean, Billy back in the days where Billy had to have his friends go out with him because the
babysitter.
The nights would not end well, you know. So in his Mr. S truck that he'd drive around Apopka that was all jacked up, you know.
He's
so
still in
it goes
Apopka.
back. Yeah, Billy's a legit good dude, man,
Yes.
and Paula's a sweetheart. So he's a good guy to be around, and he's passionate about the business and still big as shit, dude. I mean, that guy's just a beast.
I tease him because I talk to him on a weekly basis, and I always tease him, tell him his old age is finally catching up because he's shrinking. But he's not. He's not. I'm just trying to help myself.
He's the largest. He's one of the largest. Like, you see him on TV, and I was like when I met him, he was still with the WWFE at the time.
Yeah.
You know? And I was like, God, he's huge. And then we became friends. He actually tried to get me hired when JR was talent relations. And I was really ready for this. This was like the 90s. And I remember putting a box, you know, since then I've become friends with these guys, you know, but I put a box together, and Billy got me on the phone with Kevin Dunn, actually. And I sent this box to JR, and it had my pictures on it, my VHS tape. I'm this green 20-something-year-old kid that just got into radio, not knowing what the hell I'm doing, you know. And it's funny to talk about it later, you know, years down the road. But, you know, you get guys like you that just have this natural God-given ability to be a star at such a young age, you know, which is cool, and you've taken advantage of it. You've obviously
but you gotta have, you know, it's a lot of things. There's so much work that goes into this. I think that's one of the things people don't realize, that they, you know, even my wife just sometimes goes, "Oh, it just looks like fun," you know, but she sees the amount of work it takes to do it. But yeah, and that's what Billy was. You know, he was such an athlete, and he was a big dude. So I think that's why we clicked real well. And then, you know, between him and Hunter and Taker, they really kind of helped mold me into what I'm doing today.
Yeah. Did you disagree with anything, the idea-wise, that the WWE threw your way?
No, I mean, I think I look at it all as a challenge. I have a lot of conversations with Cena because he has such a mind for this whole world. And I think he is a lot of guys can get negative. You know, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that. And when you talk to John, he's going, okay, this is what they're giving me. How can I make this the best I can possibly make it? And I think he kind of instilled that in me. So no matter what it is, you know, if they say, hey, we want you in a pink tutu tonight playing the flute, I'm going to play the shit out of that flute. You know, it's like, it's one of those things that, you know, it's fun to take stuff and see what you can do with it, because it's the constable role. The constable role, I think, was something that was like, let's see where this goes. And I really latched onto it and took it in, and, you know, really wanted to just irritate everybody and their mother as much as possible. And I think I did it. And then it evolved into the acting GM, and then it took a whole nother level. It was fun to really dive into these things.
Yeah, you became like a true heel that wrestling got away from. You know, the internet's kind of screwed that up.
Well, yeah, the internet screwed a lot of things up.
With the heel stuff.
I try to, it's the guys I watched. I watched Bam Bam Bigelow, Big Boss Man, and it's simple. Like, I think that's one of the things people struggle with. What I do is I try to make it as simple as I can so that everybody can understand it. It's not convoluted nonsense with millions of moves and things that don't matter. I want everything I do to matter, and I think that irritates people, that it's not just kind of what they see right now and they like is this high octane flips and stuff like that, but then they don't actually care about the person. People hate me to the core as a person.
Did it take some time to get used to the social media backlash that people like really buying into all this?
No, because I'm good at disconnecting. Like, when I am home, I understand that that's my job, and my job is to irritate people to no end. And if people hate me and they tell me, you get some crazy stuff, man. When I hit Becky with the End of Days, I was getting legit death threats on a regular basis. That's when you're like, okay, time out, because some of these people are a little nuts. Let's just say a little nuts. They can't separate the reality of a television show and real life. Like, I was getting legit, like, people were like, I'm gonna stab you when I see you, and I'm going, no, I don't really want to be stabbed, but
yeah, it's I guess it's been going on. I mean, you see some of these, like the Dark Side of the Ring stuff, like the Bruce and Brody, and how crazy those fans were when they would fight in Texas, the Von Erichs and those crowds and stuff. So I guess wrestling fans, like, I was going to the Capitol Center in DC when I was a kid and stuff, watching wrestling, but I guess wrestling fans have always been this nuts. I don't know. What do the old school guys tell you? Probably the same thing.
I mean, it's the same thing. They're passionate about, what they see and who they like and who they hate, and they're not afraid to let you know. It's kind of like a rock show, man. I got friends in bands that are like, we went on tour with Metallica. That was a horrible idea. They hated Metallica fans hated our music, so they let us know. They're like turning their backs on the stage, and it's like, it's just their people like what they like, man, and they're passionate. Dude, I've been punched in the back of the head by an 80-year-old man at a show. It was hilarious. He was in a wheelchair, or his wife was in a wheelchair, and he had overalls on, and he was swinging at me, and his wife was holding the back of the overalls, getting dragged in her wheelchair. Like that, you can't pay for that, man.
they like that. If my career as Baron Corbin ended in the WWE today, it was worth it because of that.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, I had a lady. It was so funny. We were in, I don't know, Mississippi or somewhere, and this lady told me she was going to stab me after the show. She was legit 85 years old. And I said, lady, you need to see a dentist first because you don't have any teeth. And then she got real mad. It was just, it was
some of the stuff the wrestlers pre-social media and videos everywhere, like Bubba Ray would always say, he's like, if they had cell phones during the ECW days, it just like none of us would have careers
today.
Insane. It's just it's
social media has done a lot, man. Good and bad.
Do you get a lot of friends and family pitching you storyline ideas?
My mother and my mom will call me sometimes. Say, why'd you beat up Dolph Ziggler? I like him. Mom, come on. Like, really? Or she'll call me and be like, my mom loves Dolph Ziggler. She's like, what's he doing with his hair? He should be doing this. I'm like, okay, Mom, I'll tell Dolph Ziggler you said this. But she buys in and watches like Total Bellas. And she's like, well, they're doing this. And I'm going, Mom, come on. She's like, well, I think you should do this. Okay.
Sometimes, the best, not the best, but some good ideas come from just random places. Like, what was the story?
Sure.
Like Stone Cold came from like his first wife and coffee or something. That was the whole thing behind that. Sometimes you get good ideas. But I know you guys kind of put up a wall too, because you don't want that outside idea coming in. It kind of wants to either originate from the WWE or within your crew or your brand.
Yeah, for sure. But it is like, I find that casual fans, not these a-hole internet fans, casual fans have the best outlook because that's a majority of our audience. When my wife watches and doesn't understand something or enjoys something, I know it's good or bad because she has no clue. Like, she doesn't think she's inside that world like everybody on Twitter does.
Yeah, they're a part of the. And then when something comes up that's similar to their idea, they claim that it was.
Oh yeah. I wrote this in 2007 on my Twitter page. It got no likes, but it was my idea.
Here's the screenshot of it.
Yeah.
You guys gotta follow it. As we see Jimmy Bones up there finishing up those wings. One of the things that you had cooked. This was actually the conversation that Bully Ray connected us together on, because he was bragging about you had done, what is it called, the reverse sear. I haven't done it yet. The reverse sear steak, and you had done that, and he was like, you've got to see Baron's social media, because he just did this reverse sear steak and it was ridiculous. Was that your first go at the reverse sear?
No, I always test things out before I put them online, or for make people eat them. So I've done it a few times, but it's cool, man. The barbecue world's a really kind of cool community for the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, just like anything, it has some bad apples that are kind of funky, but I've become really good friends with Jess Prowse, who owns Hardcore Carnivore, actually, which she just does all out of her house. She's the one that taught me how to do the reverse sear like properly. And then I've played with it a few times, because I tried, once you get it out of the oven and then you're getting it ready to put in that cast iron skillet, I've tried different things in the cast iron skillet, from avocado oil to butter to beef tallow from Snake River Farms, like stuff like that. So it's fun to play with the different things, but I've got, my recipe pretty set now. I like using that beef tallow. The butter makes it kind of too heavy. But it's an easy way to do it if I don't want to go out and fire up the grill. It's just
explain to me how you did it. Like I don't know how to do it. I was actually gonna just mimic your video and try it, because I'm serious. Like, it looked so damn good.
It's crazy good. So the main thing I learned is you got to have a pan that has the wire that sits above, so it's not sitting flat on the pan. Yeah. And then I think I put the oven at 225, and I run the meat to. It depends where you want to eat your steak. I'm like a 130 to 135 guy, right in there in that medium rare spot. So I'll cook them in the oven to like 120, 125, somewhere in that vein. So I'll temp check them while they're in the oven at 125. And it depends. Like, I did some like 3-inch thick dry aged ribeyes in the oven. It took like 2.5 hours to get them to 120 degrees. And then I get that cast iron skillet just blazing hot with rosemary, garlic, and that beef tallow. And so I let the steaks kind of cool just a little bit, and then I throw them in the that iron skillet and just sear each side for about 45 seconds each side. Yeah. Usually gets me right to the temp where I want, but it puts that nice crisp on the top layer of your steak, which people do the other way where they sear it first and put it in the oven, but I feel like you lose that crust when you do that. So right. I'm all about that reverse sear right now, and I do it on a couple things. That sometimes I sous vide too, which is kind of the same principle. If my wife's family's coming over for steak, I sous vide, because I don't know when they're going to get here or when they're going to be ready to eat. So you can put it in that sous vide, and I think I'm at 123 is what I take it to. And you could leave it in there for 6 hours, 10 hours, 4 hours, and it won't go above that temperature. And then I just throw them in that iron skillet and sear the crap out of them too.
That's awesome. Do you have a go-to go-to food dish recipe when you have guests over? Like something that people are going to walk away and say, damn, that Corbin is badass on the grill.
Yeah, I do too. There's two I did, and it depends how fancy I want to get too. But I do a picanha that is out of this world. I'll go get 2 picanhas when we're having family over, and I'll cook those on the smoke on the egg, and then sear them at like 600 with fat side down. It's unbelievable what they do. And I put like a charcoal rub on them that I think is incredible, and everybody just loves that. And then I do a full tenderloin.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
You can't beat a tenderloin. I mean, that's filet Chateaubriand, but I do like a coffee rub on it sometimes, and then I do like a garlic and brie sauce. Ooh. And that's usually the thing that sets people off, is that garlic brie sauce. All of a sudden, I just see a bowl of it on their plate in no steak. They're just like, I gotta eat the sauce.
Isn't that the best, man? Somebody comes into the house. Not, if you don't grill, you don't get it. But, like, something about having something that people talk about, having that go-to, like I do these Hawaiian, we call them flying Hawaiian turkey burgers.
Oh yeah.
And people just, I mean, it's just a freaking burger, but the way I do it, and I keep basting it as they're on the grill, and you know, the toppings and stuff, people like request me to do it. And now I'm starting to get into this Wagyu. Bubba got me into Wagyu, and I've not yet
I'm
had
all about it.
not had a Wagyu steak yet. I'm getting one at a meat market here in town. Actually, my meat guy here, AtlantaSteakandSeafood.com, Terry, said that he's going to get me some, but he got me some Wagyu burgers, which is the American Wagyu.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try. Like,
so
I like,
are you getting legit Japanese, like A5 Wagyu, or are you getting like U.S.
the steak
Snake
will
River
be.
Farms?
The steak will be.
It'll be A5.
Yeah, that's what I've been told. It's like $220 for like 8 ounces.
You're overpaying a little bit, but it should be about $125 a pound.
I'm way overpaying.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
But so here's the thing too. If they're a place that doesn't normally get it, for them, they have to buy such a large quantity. He may not be buying that large quantity. So like when my meat market here, Heights Meat Market is who I go through all my stuff in Tampa, and he spends like $4,000 on his shipment of A5 because he knows he's going to sell it all.
Right.
But if you're buying smaller, then you are paying way more. But be careful with that. It's so good. It is so rich.
Yeah, it's rich. You can't even finish.
Oh,
even a big fella like you can't finish an 8-ounce steak, right?
No, I did a 1 pound ribeye, and I ate about a third of it. My wife ate a third of it, and then the dog got a third of it.
Oh, lucky
The
dog.
was living.
That dog's like, thank you, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
You're the best.
But I reverse seared that one as well.
Yeah, and you can easily burn those because they're so rare.
Fast. And also, dude, in an A5, that fat starts melting at room temperature. Just so you know. So keep it in the fridge till you're ready to cook it. Get it out. Let it sit for a little bit, but don't let it get all the way to room temperature because it'll start cooking.
Well, even the Wagyu burgers, which is the American Wagyu,
Yeah.
so you've got Angus and ground beef in there. That it was tough for me to finish just the burger because you could taste the richness. But
Yeah.
what I did with it, what I'm going to do again is, you just cook the burger. I was basting it as I went with teriyaki sauce, which I'm a big fan of basting as you go with the burger. Then I'm going to put, I'm going to top it with goat cheese, a beet, spinach, olive oil mayo on a toasted Hawaiian bun. And I think that'll be really good.
That'll be awesome.
Doesn't it sound good?
Yeah. I've gotten into burgers lately. I bought we just completely redid my outdoor kitchen because that's my happy place. Give me my cigar, my whiskey.
Yeah.
I put a kegerator out there. He's drinking a beer right now. My kegerator has got nitro brew on one side and beer on the other. Now we're talking. But I put a flat top, I think it's called Uvo or Evo, one of the two, but it's basically a gigantic cast iron flat top. I've been doing smash burgers on there.
Oh, talking about that?
And they're so good, dude.
Yeah. How did you build out your kitchen?
I basically looked at all the junk I wanted first and then built it around what I wanted.
Yeah.
So, I got the offset done. I've got the flat top, got the kegerator, I've got my green egg. But now that I'm done, I'm putting a pizza oven in. Yeah.
Big fan. How old are your kids?
I just have one. She's 14 months.
Oh, okay. So I've got a 15-year-old daughter at the house that has friends over. She just had a birthday the night. You get the up to 600, 550 pizzas. Bam, bam, bam. It's great.
I just did. My wife's dad just put one in, and I'm gonna get the same one.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm getting ready to. We just extended our deck, and I just ordered these cabinets from Challenger, which is a company in Indianapolis. They do custom cabinets, and they're one of the best in the business, if not the best, because they're weatherproof and watertight. So you can keep. That's like a huge problem. A lot of people with either the KJ or the egg, will get these wood, cabinets or everything built,
Yeah.
which is cool. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just don't feel comfortable with fire and wood, and it just makes me feel weird. So the Challenger cabinets are pretty badass, and they custom fit. So I'm doing like the corner unit, the KJ there. I'll have my propane.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
Just a 2-burner propane there, and then I can put all, like you were saying earlier, man, dude, you just like every weekend you're buying something for this damn grill. It's like the Voltron of grilling. It's crazy.
I know it. I had to go buy. It's so funny. I've been grilling for years. I don't have a charcoal starter, like the little charcoal stack thing.
Yeah.
That everybody uses, but I'm going to burn in that offset, so I have to cover the whole inside of that offset with pan, and then get a fire going in there at like 400 degrees, 500 degrees, and let it roll for an hour just to burn it in. And I had to go to Home Depot today and buy a charcoal stack thing. I was like, I look like an amateur in there buying my little charcoal thing. Like, hey.
But you feel good afterwards. You're like, one more piece to the ultimate grilling puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
I got it.
Or I get a few drinks in me, and I'm like watching a YouTube barbecue channel while I'm cooking or something, and I'm going, ooh, what's that? I need that. Like, I was watching Chopped the other night, and I was kind of half tipsy, and they were doing like a smoking episode where they had like these smoke pants, and I was like, I need that. She's like, no, you don't. You have 2 smokers. Stop. Like, it's pretty funny.
The smoke pans for the propane grills, and I've got a cabin up in North Georgia, and it's got a propane up there in Napoleon, and we were up there, when it's not rented out, we were up there, and I was like, I want to smoke. I forget what I was smoking. Oh, I was doing pork loins. And I was like, but can you smoke on a propane grill? So I called my buddy Jason at Atlanta Grill Company, where I get all my stuff here in Roswell. And he's like, yeah, you got to buy this, grill box, or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's like $12. I went and bought it. You put water and chips in there.
Yep.
And you put it, you put it on the burner that's hot. And the rest of them, you obviously turn off. And I got to tell you, man, like, for a propane grill to smoke, it was pretty damn good. It was,
yeah, nice.
But people got mad at me on the internet, the diehard grill guys.
Whatever.
Oh, dude, you're like, you can't do that on a propane grill. What are you doing, Bailey? That's horrible. So they're going after me.
I always say in a lot of my videos, I'm like, hey, I have the worst technique ever, but my stuff is good. They're like, you're not supposed to do it that way. And I'm going, oh, whatever, dude.
Oh, that's funny. All right, I'll wait for Jimmy Bones to get in front of the camera again. So
those wings look legit, man.
Yeah, they look good. I think he's grabbing his side at him there. So I had one last question for you as far as wrestling goes, and then we'll talk about the food as I try to get this glare out. And then Nate's been texting me about the glare. So the Kurt Angle, and then retiring him and whatnot. Were you cool with all that?
Loved it.
That must have been kind of a highlight, right?
And because it irritated people. I mean, these people cried and cried and cried. They're like, it should have been Cena. Why? If Cena came and did it, everybody would be like, why is Cena coming back for WrestleMania? Let the young guys go. They're not happy with anything. It's one of those things. Kurt is amazing. Yeah. Like, his knowledge for the industry and his knowledge for life. Like, the guy's got an Olympic gold medal. Obviously, he's done incredible things here. And then, dude, he's an incredible person.
Yeah.
Like, to the core is a good person. He's got adopted children. He helps out, all kinds of people outside that, and he doesn't do it on social media. Like, most people are like, look at me, I'm out here helping people. Like, Kurt doesn't do that. He does it genuinely because that's just the type of person he is. So to have that moment, with him at WrestleMania was awesome. And he was happy about it. Like, the fans weren't, because they wanted something different, but it was one of those things. And to go out there in the ring, and I was just going, man, I'm just trying to show out for Kurt. Like, I want this to be something he remembers. And I think, he was really happy with it. And our story started like a year prior with the acting GM stuff together. So it was in the mix for a year together. And I thought it was really cool. And it was a special moment for me. It's going to be hard to top.
Yeah, that, I agree. And, I saw kind of the storyline with the fans, like, their point was like, why Baron Corbin does make, but it did make sense because you guys had a year-long program. That's a long time, and you needed a payoff. Everything has to have a payoff, as we all know. And so that was the payoff. And, I could be wrong. And, I'm assuming Kurt was like, it's time. And this is a good time for it to be time. So
Yeah.
it's time to move on. What do you want to do next? Like, you've done a lot. And you've been in the WWE like 8-10 years. You've done a lot. You've done a lot more than what some people have done in 20 years in wrestling.
For sure. I've got a cool list of accolades, but I still want that world title, man. I think that's the reason I'm here, and to get into that picture at the right time. I think it's a difficult time right now, doing these shows at the Performance Center without a crowd. I want to, carry that title with people there, and for them to be a part of, a nice title run. I think it would be awesome. And, that's my ultimate goal, is to have that. And then, I want to just put myself on a place where people go, man, we may have really talked a lot of crap on Corbin, but 15 years from now, I'm going, dude, that guy was a stud. Like, when they look back and remember the things that I accomplished, like right now, I want them to hate me, but 15 years, I'd like a little, one of these going, hey, good job, kid.
Do you want to be world champ as a heel or a babyface?
Oh, heel all day long. You know how much fun it'd be to rub that title in people's faces? I can just imagine like walking down the ramp and like pointing at a 10-year-old kid with my title and going, hey, little kid, you'll never have one of these. And then just watching everybody rampage. Or the 45-year-old guy that lives with his mom that's like, I hate you. And I'll go, yeah, well, your title, you bought it at Walmart there, buddy. This is the real one.
Don't be mad your mom can't afford a plastic.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Your mom got you the cheap one, not even the good one.
Who would you want to beat for the title?
Man, that's tough.
That's a great question. I got to tell you, I'm really proud of that question.
It was good.
Because you know what, Drew's the champ now. So whatever you answer with, if it's not Drew, would mean that you would think that they should be champion at some time. No knock on Drew McIntyre, but that could be something down the road. So something in your head, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, and we got Braun as a champion too,
Yeah.
and I just want it to be one of those like those feuds that you're just truly so sucked into, and when I win, I want it to just suck the air out of the building. And man, dude, you got me good there, man. Because I'd like to meet AJ. I think AJ's unbelievable. Yeah. I think AJ, is coming back to SmackDown. He thinks it's his house. I think him being a world champ, people were really behind him. And I think, I took a U.S. title off him once, and that was pretty cool. I can imagine that world title being
well, what would the story be
better
with AJ? What would the story
I mean, I could just start it with making fun of his soccer mom haircut. Really, there's a lot of options, to make fun of him. His football team, his stature, his age, his toughness. There's a lot of good things that'll be fun to run with him.
His old school UGA Nike T-shirt that I have as well because I bought it 8 years ago that he always wears on TV.
Yeah, the fact that he throws temper tantrums and breaks video game controllers.
I remember when AJ was with TNA, because when I was in Orlando, I'd go to the shows all the time when Bubba was there, and I never got to know him at all, really. I think we've interviewed him on the radio show once. Shared a flight with him to Vegas when they had a show out there. And I went to propose to my now wife. This is years ago. But he's a Georgia boy. Like, literally, he lives up the street.
Through and through.
And just from what I hear, like the nicest dude ever. Just like, so cool.
Yeah, we get along. So that's like, when I accidentally punch him in the face, I can be like, my bad, dude. But
my bad.
I kind of 50-50 meant it.
All right, Jimmy Bones, man. Baron was just saying how that food looks good. You plated it up nice. Of course, get a shot of that Camaro that you have there. You've got random people coming out of their apartment. It's like Congo the movie, with all the gorillas coming out. So what do you got there, man? Explain it to us.
The neighbor's dog wanted some of the wings, apparently. So so I got just some basic garnishes that you would have with any wings, carrots and celery, and then we got the buffalo wings and the lemon pepper. And I think the temperature was about 400 on the grill, and I took them to right at 165 before I cooked.
Show me that asparagus thing that you did.
Actually, I didn't have time to get to that. That would be like another half hour.
Oh, well,
yeah. Unfortunately.
We're going to have round 2 then.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was gonna say Baron and I were like, man, we're kind of excited. I mean, we're excited about the wings. Don't get us wrong, but I was really looking forward to that asparagus thing that you're gonna do.
I was just going
I'll
to
have to
steal
do
the
that next
recipe.
time.
Yeah, Baron just wants the recipe. So Jimmy Bones, you're gonna have to get it to him. All right.
Yeah, I'll send that to Nate, and he can post it on the website.
So where's that neighbor? Is he still around?
No, he's walking his dog somewhere now, I think.
I was gonna say you can give us an honest opinion of your wings. Because you didn't tell us it's awesome, but he would have said if they sucked or not. And I know they don't. I'm just kidding. So anyway, Jimmy Bones Wings, the recipe on shoottogrillpodcast.com. Also want to give a big thanks to STG Poker, stgpoker.com. If you're a poker player like myself, you play poker, Baron?
Oh, most definitely. I've spent many a nights leaving the casino, walking outside and going, oh, no, it's morning.
You go to the Hard Rock?
No, I'm not a fan of the Hard Rock. They don't have any dice games, which I like to play too. I mean, I like blackjack and I like, hold'em, but sometimes I like to get a little wild on some tables with some dice.
Yeah. Where do you go? I mean, you talk about like when you're on the road or
Do
something?
it on the road, yeah.
Yeah.
When I can stay out all night and nobody can tell on me.
I remember when they've got Vegas style gambling. We did, when I was doing radio in Orlando, and we did a show there. And like when I lived in Orlando, I'd usually go to Daytona about 3, sometimes 4 times a week and do 8-10 hour sessions at a table.
Yeah.
I mean, some people said I had a problem. I just said I practiced a lot to get good. There's a difference.
As long as you win.
Yeah, I go down to the Hard Rock once a year for my fantasy football draft with my buddies on Davis Island, and big Mississippi stud guy. So I'll sit at that table and.
Dude, you meet some interesting characters for tables too. Some real sketchy characters. I was in Panama one night, and it was I got down at the table at 1 a.m. and group of dudes at the table was on another level. There was a guy, I'm a big watch guy. I love watches. And this dude was Panerai. And I was like, that's a cool watch. He's like, took it off and threw it to me. He's like, I'm going to smoke a cigarette. And I was holding it. And I'm going, dude, this is a $30,000 watch. This dude just threw it to me and walked off to go have a cigarette. I was like, he has no fear. And I was like, it just wouldn't be good. Like I could get up and leave, but I'm like, he's got to have people here who know him or something. And then I saw people were coming in and out. And I think I took like a couple grand off those guys that night. And I was honestly nervous getting to my room with them money.
the Hard Rock game to Murphy, North Carolina or Cherokee. But when I go to the Hard Rock once a year, last year when I was down there, whether it's money laundering or not, but these guys sat down at the Mississippi stud table and they're still doing construction. And I remember that thing was built, so it's come a long way with a huge hike in prices since then. And these dudes sat down with their cargo pants, and I swear to God, every damn pocket in that pants had a gangster roll of 10 grand in cash wrapped with a rubber band. And they were just flicking it at the dealer like they had to it was like they had to lose it. And I'm going, dude, feel free to shoot one of those rolls over the kid, man. Not a problem. I'm right here.
Hard Rock's got a fantastic steakhouse. They got a bunch of dry aged. They got Wagyu. They got incredible selection of steaks down there.
Yeah, the Oak Council.
Yep.
I was one of the first to have a knife there, believe it or not.
Really?
Yes, I was. When I was on 98 Rock for a couple of years, so I was.
Nice.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Baron, for coming on, dude. I'm such a fan, and you're just such a good